3 nights later. He didn't come back, and this time the silence didn't feel like waiting. It felt like an ending. Amara stood by the window one last time, her reflection staring back at her like someone she barely recognized, someone who had crossed into a world she was never meant to survive. "You're not staying here forever," she whispered to herself, almost like a warning, almost like a promise. And for the first time since she met him, she chose herself. If you've ever had to choose between love and your future, hit like right now, because this is where everything changes. She packed lightly, not because she had nothing, but because nothing here truly belonged to her. Her phone buzzed again. Ada. This time, she answered. "Amara, where have you been? Your mom is going crazy. You just disappeared." Amara closed her eyes briefly, grounding herself in a world that made sense. "I'm okay," she said softly. "I just got caught up in something." "Something? You traveled for school, not to vanish." Ada snapped. Then softer. "Are you coming back or not?" That question hung in the air longer than expected. Amara looked around the room, the quiet, the luxury, the danger hidden beneath it all, and finally said, "Yes, I'm finishing what I started." And in that moment, her path shifted. But she never made it out of the house. The moment she stepped outside, the air felt wrong. Too still, too quiet. Her instincts kicked in, but too late. A car door slammed. Hands grabbed her, firm, controlled, not chaotic. A cloth over her mouth, not rough, but effective. Darkness didn't crash in, it crept. And the last thing she thought before everything faded was not fear, but his name. If that moment just hooked you, subscribe now, because what happens next will change everything. When she woke up, it wasn't pain that greeted her. It was silence. Cold, calculated silence. Her hands weren't tied, but the room told her everything she needed to know. Concrete walls, minimal light, no windows. This wasn't about panic. This was about control. "You're awake," a voice said from behind her. She turned slowly. A man stepped forward, calm, composed, dangerous in a way that didn't need to be proven. "You're important to him," he said, studying her like a puzzle. "That makes you valuable." Amara swallowed, but her voice didn't shake. "Then you won't kill me." A small smile touched his lips. "Not yet." That was worse. Across the city, Dr. Kang was already moving. Not reacting, calculating. "Location confirmed?" he asked. "Yes," his assistant replied. "But it's a trap." Dr. Kang picked up his jacket slowly, his expression unreadable. "I know." "Then why walk into it?" A pause. Then, "Because she's in it." And that was all that needed to be said. If you're still watching, comment rescue. Because what he's about to do is not just dangerous, it's personal. The building stood quiet on the outside, like nothing important existed within it. But inside, every second counted. Dr. Kang didn't rush. He never rushed. Precision over panic. Always. Doors opened before he reached them. Cameras went dark seconds before they could register movement. This wasn't just a doctor. This was a man who understood systems and how to break them. By the time the first alarm realized something was wrong, he was already inside. Amara heard it before she saw it. A shift, a disruption, the kind that doesn't belong in controlled spaces. Her heart reacted instantly, not with fear, but recognition. "He came," she whispered, almost in disbelief. The man across from her tilted his head slightly. "Let's see if he survives it," he said calmly. Then the door opened. Not kicked, not forced. Opened. Dr. Kang stepped in like he belonged there. Calm, focused, dangerous. His eyes went straight to her, and for a fraction of a second, everything else disappeared. "You shouldn't have come," Amara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "And leave you here," he replied. Not an option. That moment, brief, intense, real, was everything they hadn't said before. If that moment just hit you, like and share right now, because this is where love stops being safe. What followed wasn't chaos. It was control under pressure. Moves calculated. Timing precise. No wasted motion. The kind of efficiency that only comes from someone who has done this before many times. But this time, there was something different. Urgency. Not for survival, but for her. Within minutes, the path out was clear. Not easy, but possible. "Can you walk?" he asked. "Yes." "Stay close." She didn't hesitate, didn't question, because in that moment, she trusted him completely. Outside, the night air hit differently. Not cold, not quiet. Alive. And for the first time since everything started, Amara felt it, freedom. But it came with a cost. Back in the car, silence sat between them again. But this time, it wasn't empty. It was full of everything they hadn't said. "You can't stay with me anymore," Dr. Kang said finally. The words were calm, but final. Her chest tightened. "Because it's dangerous? Because now they know you matter." That truth didn't hurt. It clarified everything. "So what happens now?" she asked. He looked at her, not as someone he was protecting, but as someone he was letting go. "You go back," he said. "You finish your life. The one you came here for." "And you?" she asked quietly. A pause. Then, "I stay where I belong." If you felt that shift, subscribe now, because this is where love gets real. Weeks later, Amara stood on a university campus. The noise of students, laughter, movement, it all felt almost unreal. But this was her world. Lecture halls, assignments, deadlines. Her master's program had begun, and for the first time in a long time, she felt grounded. Her phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. "I always keep my promises." No name. No explanation. But she didn't need one. A small smile touched her lips. Across the city, far from her world, Dr. Kang stood in his hospital again. Clean. Controlled. Untouchable. But something had changed. Not in his environment, in him. Because for the first time, he had let something go, and it didn't feel like loss. It felt like protection. Back on campus, Amara looked up at the sky, her future stretching ahead of her. Not perfect, not easy, but hers. And somewhere between everything they had been and everything they had lost, something still remained, unfinished. And maybe that was the beginning of something even more dangerous. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because episode 4 might just bring them back together in a way you won't expect. Subscribe, that's the only way you can support us keep creating mind-blowing Afro-Korean love stories.